Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Beer is Tasty, the show that took a slight break, but now we're back and it's two guys that love beer and we're going to talk to you about it.
That's true.
What's our formula here? You know what, we try a beer.
We try a beer, we put some food in our mouth, and then we put some more beer in our mouth, and then we tell you it's crap. So the first beer we're going to be going with, by the way, I'm Brian, that's Chris. The first beer we're going for today, and the only beer we're going for today, is the Tubemogul Pilsner. It's a standard kind of Belgian Pilsner, and it's got a 4.8% alcohol by volume.
So there's a couple things to note. First of all, we should mention that this is St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to try to make green beer out of this, and we thought...
And you also notice we picked a Pilsner with a green bottle, just for the sake
Now, we've never really had great results from a beer in a green bottle, because the green bottle is not quite protected from the light that it's supposed to.
Whoa.
But we'll see. So we tried to go with kind of a light beer, so that way we could...
No, give it a small pour. So here's what we're going to do. First up, let's teach everyone how to make green beer the proper way. So what you want to do is you want to pour a little bit of beer into your glass.
Right, you don't want to get crazy.
Don't go too awful
start with the green directly?
Start with the green directly. Now, depending on the color of beer you got, you're going to want to vary up the type of food coloring you use.
Yeah, but if your beer is too far to the one side, if it's got already a lot of green in it, you might actually want to go with some blue, because if your beer is already kind of leaning that direction, then the blue alone will change the color.
Right, exactly.
I'll get us a spoon so we can stir. Or actually, you know what?
You do not need a spoon. So now this is the key here. If you're making proper beer on St. Patrick's Day, of course, you're too lazy to do dishes. So what you want to do is go ahead and just pour a little bit of beer in. Put the food coloring in. Don't go more than, say, 5, maybe 6 drops total. Start with green. If you have a very yellow beer, you can go ahead and add some blue in there as well.
Yep.
And then you're going to add in the rest of the beer to mix it all up.
Yep.
That way, you don't got to do dishes because you're going to be drunk.
So how many drops did you do?
Yeah, give 5 or 6 drops. Just drop a little bit in. If you drop too much in, you're going to turn your teeth green, which is awesome if you're drunk enough and if the lady you're with is also that drunk. And you can just go ahead and pour a little bit extra in.
Look at that sucker, that's beautiful!
And you have green beer.
Now we should mention, we've already done 3 episodes of Beer is Tasty before we recorded this one, so we might have already had 3 or 4 beers. Well, okay, we have had 3 or 4 beers.
We've had 3 or 4 beers, yeah.
But,
we'll give it 1 drop of blue.
Oh, I just finished off the beer.
Oh, look at what a beautiful friend you are. Oh, I noticed I already have more beer than Brian. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Now, here's the really cool part.
You want a little beer?
I wish you guys could see this. Notice there's like a little blue dot sitting there. Yeah, so if you got a beer with a big head on it and you start adding in the food coloring, you're going to get a dot. All right, I'll mix it up.
Now, I'm pretty happy with the green of mine because I took all the beer. So let me show you the results that I got here. Boy, here's...
Yeah. Now check this out, everybody. So here's what you can do. You get a little bit of foam on it there. Yep. Then wait for the foam. Put a drop of food coloring on top of the foam. Mix it all in. That way you're actually mixing the food coloring of the foam, not the beer. You end up with a green head.
So here's mine. It's mine's a little bit lighter of a green and hopefully just still quite tasty. I think this is great for St. Patrick's Day. So I'm happy with my results here.
You got good results. You got good results.
Yeah.
All right, so now the beer we're working with here today, again, it's 4.8 ABV.
Not super strong.
Belgian Pilsner. Let's give it a shot.
Everybody always tells us, you know what's funny is everybody always writes in and says, you've got to try some Belgian beers. And then we try Belgian beers and we've never liked a single one.
Now, to be fair, though, most of the Belgian beers we have been trying...
kind of exotic.
We're a little more on the risky side. We weren't exactly going with the standard light Pilsners here.
Right. That's true.
Now I'm afraid to drink this for making my face completely green with the foam.
I am not, however, because I took all of the beer. Well,
wow, that's a really average beer.
It almost has like a sweet ending to it. Like did somebody drop sugar in my beer? You get that? Is that just me?
I think that might just be you a little bit here.
You're getting that.
Again.
Swallow and then like taste. Taste post swallow. And
are you telling me how to drink beer? What you do is you swallow it, and then you can taste what it tasted like. This is what Chris adds to the show, everybody. If you think that Chris is full of crap, I want you to do is write in and tell everyone in subject line, Chris is full of crap, and then we'll read that in a later episode.
Right. So that'll happen. All right.
So let's try. I want to try this with something salty, because honestly, I'm not getting a lot of flavor.
So we've got some cashews here because, you know, nuts and beer, right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes nuts and beer. So we thought we'd pour out little cashews here on the table and we would pair this beer with some salty cashews. Right. Because who doesn't want little salty nuts in their mouth?
That's a really good point. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Chris is right, Chris is right. Mm-hmm. That's not bad. It's this is very, very drinkable. It's very light. It's very crisp. It's very refreshing. It doesn't have a great deal of flavor, but it is distinctly a Pilsner. It's a Pilsner's Pilsner. It is a... It's not overly hoppy. It's not even all that malty.
No,
it's a little malty, but not much.
It's a crisp, basic beer.
Yeah, it really is. It obviously has a quality flavor to it. I would definitely say that this is a good beer, but it is not an overly exciting beer. It's a beer that I could drink this with most foods, though.
Yeah, you can definitely have it. I don't really think there's anything you would want to exclude when you ate this, because it's very middle of the road.
If I was wanting to sit around in a bar drinking a beer, this would not be one of my first or even second choices. But if I'm at home and I want to have like a bag of Cheetos, this actually wouldn't be a beer
a bag of Cheetos wouldn't be bad. I think where this beer would actually kind of be appropriate is if you're like over at a party or you're having a party and you have a wide selection of food, different appetizers, different types of foods, and you want something that's going to go with when you get salsa, and then when you go get that carrot and you dip it in that that ranch or whatever it is you have there. And you want something that's going to go with all of those foods. It's going to transcend all those. This would be a decent one. This is a good beer to stock up on if you're having a party. You don't want to go with the total cheap beer route, but you want something that everyone's going to drink. Yeah. This is actually a pretty decent choice. And it's very refreshing. I got to give it that. It's one of the more refreshing beers I've had in quite a while. And it wasn't overly expensive beer, so I got it at the local grocery store. It wasn't that expensive. I don't recall. I think we've had some pretty expensive beers on here, and we've had some cheap beers, and this one didn't jump out at me in the price point, so I think it's just kind of an average price.
You can taste that this is exactly what things like Coors and Bud are striving to be.
They're going for this.
They're going for this flavor.
It also reminds me of this flavor is kind of where a lot of beers start, and then they build flavors on top of it. They start this is like their base flavor profile, and then they will try to go with something with a little extra spunk to it, and this is where they started at. You know what I mean?
So, seriously, if you think Chris is full of crap, just feel free to write in with the subject line and everything.
That doesn't make sense to you?
Wow.
I'm saying this is...
I mean, wow.
I'm saying
Am I right, everybody?
This is a foundational beer, and then there's a lot of people that start with something that comes out with this, and then they try to tweak it from there.
It's a foundational beer, everybody. We just made that up.
Now, I did just make that up.
What you really should do, though, is you should go to wikipedia.org, add in a new entry for foundational beer, and then describe what we just described
Although
here.
That would be a great... epic Wikipedia entry, foundational beer, and then you could credit the beer as tasty.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to?
So, in terms of scale, though, I'm just going to give it a C. It's a good beer. I actually would drink it again. If I was just going to list it on the how drinkable is it scale, I'd give it a B+. But in terms of having flavor, it just doesn't have a lot. It's nothing I'm going to remember distinctly. And honestly, the next time I have it, I'm going to go, oh yeah, that's what that was like.
Right. Now, what do you think is a beer we've had recently that was one notch better than this beer?
One notch better than this beer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of it because it's not that bad.
It's not bad.
I'm trying to think of that when I think of the grade rating.
You going like a step up here?
Well, I'm trying to think of what's my next step up, and then if I can remember what I graded that, then I'll know what this is. And I honestly don't know. It's better than something like a Bud Light or a Busch by far. Yeah. It's not as good as probably some of the lagers we've had. It's not as good as like a Red Hook ESP.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And a lot of the red ales we've had recently have just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really know. This is a distinctly a Pilsner. It is a Pilsner. If you like a good Pilsner, you'll enjoy this, but you won't say that this is the best
it's refreshing.
You've ever had.
If you've done some work outside and you're all hot and warm or something like that, or you just got done putting together a computer case underneath a desk and now you're all hot and sweaty because you're kind of like me and a big guy, then this beer this was a nice, crisp, refreshing taste.
Yeah, it's going to cure what ails you just the same. You know, it's definitely a lot better than say like a Busch or anything like that.
Am I tongue green?
No, me.
No green.
See, hey, and this is really freaking green. Look at this. It's like the Emerald Isles of green. Whoa, green. So, Yeah, anyway, so if you are out on this beautiful St. Patrick's Day and you're having beer, you do not have to make it green, but if it is not an Irish beer, you do have to make it green. So if you go with the Smithwicks or the Guinness if you're out there drinking tonight, but otherwise you can make it green.
And you know, we did some investigation. We were going to come on here, we're going to tell you the history of green beer. Turns out, here's what we've kind of learned through our research of the internet, which is always the place to get the most accurate information. The history of green beer is kind of BS.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. If you search for the history of green beer, there's a couple of sites out there that have like a faux history of green beer. That's not helpful, everybody. That's all I've got to say about that.
According to these sites,
green beer was like invented in 3000 BC.
After Mary had baby Jesus, she asked for a green beer.
Right, which I see that. I kind of
and what's his name? He tried to light a fart and he burnt down the Roman Empire. And
Emperor Nero. Yeah,
he gave everybody green beer.
Yeah.
I don't think that really happened.
I don't think so. And you know, you'll find it by searching for green beer that in general, the only information that's out there is that, well, real Irish people don't drink green beer. Why would you destroy a good beer by making it green? Seriously, guys, you just put a green food coloring in it, it still tastes like beer. It's not like it suddenly tastes like Jell-O pudding pop. It's still a freaking beer.
Right.
But just the same, of course. Drink the Irish stuff first, then when you get to the cheap stuff, add the food coloring so at least you can pretend to be festive. Plus,
there you have it.
Plus, when you're drunk the next day and you're green all over, that's kind of awesome when you're
It's like a little momentum from the night.
So it's a little reminder there.
I think that's just about wraps it. So if you want to give us feedback, like Brian mentioned earlier, you can go to jupiterbroadcasting.com/forum. If you want us to get into a specific beer, we're currently not accepting beer through the mail.
No.
But if you'd like, you can go to Jupiter Broadcasting in the upper right-hand area, the general area, there's a donation button. And when you click that donation button, there's like a little notes area. And if you type in the beer you want us to get, or the general type of beer,
yes,
send us that kind of like the dollar amount of that beer, and then we'll go on a quest and we'll find that beer in our local area.
We'll do the best we can. We're trying to get as many beers that people can get all over the place as possible.
The one nice thing about the Pacific Northwest area is there's so many beer options.
There's a lot.
We're really spoiled here, so
we really are.
If you give us something we need to go find, then we can probably find it.
We'll hunt and peck until we can find it.
We'll give it our darndest.
We sure will.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Beer is Tasty. Be sure to tune in next week with another great beer. Cheers.
Green beer actually kind of tastes better. It makes it fancier.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It tastes Irish.
Yeah, no, I feel Irish right now.
Yeah.